Joshua 13. The parts of Canaan still unconquered. Now Joshua was old and advanced in years, and the Lord said to him, You are old and advanced in years, and there remains yet very much land to be possessed. This is the land that yet remains, all the regions of the Philistines, and all those of the Geshurites, from the Shir, which is east of Egypt, northward to the boundary of Ekron, it is reckoned as Canaanite. There are 5 rulers of the Philistines, those of Gaza, Ashdod, Ashkelon, Gath, and Ekron, and those of the Avim, in the south, all the land of the Canaanites, and Mira which belongs to the Sidonians, to Aphek, to the boundary of the Amorites, and the land of the Gabalites, and all Lebanon, toward the sun rising, from Baal-Gad below Mount Hermon to the entrance of Hamath, all the inhabitants of the hill country from Lebanon to Misrephoth-Maim, even all the Sidonians. I will myself drive them out from before the people of Israel, only allot the land to Israel for an inheritance, as I have commanded you. Now therefore divide this land for an inheritance to the 9 tribes and half the tribe of Manasseh. The territory east of the Jordan. With the other half of the tribe of Manasseh the Reubenites and the Gadites received their inheritance, which Moses gave them, beyond the Jordan eastward, as Moses the servant of the Lord gave them, from Aroer, which is on the edge of the valley of the Arnon, and the city that is in the middle of the valley, and all the tableland of Medba as far as Dibon, and all the cities of Sihon king of the Amorites, who reigned in Heshbon, as far as the boundary of the Ammonites, and Gilead, and the region of the Geshurites and Maacathites, and all Mount Hermon, and all Bashan to Salcah, all the kingdom of Og in Bashan, who reigned in Ashtarot and in Edrei. He alone was left of the remnant of the Rephaim. These Moses had defeated and driven out. Yet the people of Israel did not drive out the Geshurites or the Maacathites, but Geshur and Maacath dwell in the midst of Israel to this day. To the tribe of Levi alone Moses gave no inheritance. The offerings by fire to the Lord God of Israel are their inheritance, as he said to him. The territory of Reuben. And Moses gave an inheritance to the tribe of the Reubenites according to their families. So their territory was from Aroer, which is on the edge of the valley of the Arnon, and the city that is in the middle of the valley, and all the tableland by Medba, with Heshbon, and all its cities that are in the tableland, Dibon, and Bamoth-baal, and Beth-Baal-meon, and Hahaz, and Kedemoth, and Mephaath, and Kiriathaim, and Sibmah, and Zerath-Shahar on the hill of the valley, and Beth-Peor, and the slopes of Pisgah, and Beth-Shemoth, that is, all the cities of the tableland, and all the kingdom of Sihon king of the Amorites, who reigned in Heshbon, whom Moses defeated with the leaders of Midian, Evi, and Rechem and Zur and Hur and Reba, the princes of Sihon, who dwelt in the land. Balaam also, the son of Beer, the soothsayer, the people of Israel killed with the sword among the rest of their slain. And the border of the people of Reuben was the Jordan as a boundary. This was the inheritance of the Reubenites, according to their families with their cities and villages. The territory of Gad. And Moses gave an inheritance also to the tribe of the Gadites, according to their families. Their territory was Jazer, and all the cities of Gilead, and half the land of the Ammonites, to Aroer, which is east of Rabbah, and from Heshbon to Ramoth-Mizpeh and Betanim, and from Mahanaim to the territory of Debir, and in the valley Beth-Haram, Beth-Nimrah, Succos, and Zaphon, the rest of the kingdom of Sihon king of Heshbon, having the Jordan as a boundary, to the lower end of the sea of Chinnereth, eastward beyond the Jordan. This is the inheritance of the Gadites according to their families, with their cities and villages. The territory of the half-tribe of Manasseh, east. And Moses gave an inheritance to the half-tribe of Manasseh. It was allotted to the half-tribe of the Manassites according to their families. Their region extended from Mahanaim, through all Bashan, the whole kingdom of Og king of Bashan, and all the towns of Jair, which are in Bashan, 60 cities, and half Gilead, and Ashtarot, and Edrei, the cities of the kingdom of Og in Bashan. These were allotted to the people of Machir the son of Manasseh for the half of the Machirites according to their families. These are the inheritances which Moses distributed in the plains of Moab, beyond the Jordan east of Jericho. But to the tribe of Levi Moses gave no inheritance. The Lord God of Israel is their inheritance, as he said to them. Joshua 14. The distribution of territory west of the Jordan. And these are the inheritances which the people of Israel received in the land of Canaan, which Eleazar the priest, and Joshua the son of Nun, and the heads of the fathers' houses of the tribes of the people of Israel distributed to them. Their inheritance was by lot, as the Lord had commanded Moses for the 9½ tribes. For Moses had given an inheritance to the 2½ tribes beyond the Jordan, but to the Levites he gave no inheritance among them. For the people of Joseph were 2 tribes, Manasseh and Ephraim, and no portion was given to the Levites in the land, but only cities to dwell in, with their pasture lands for their cattle and their substance. The people of Israel did as the Lord commanded Moses, they allotted the land. Hebron allotted to Caleb. Then the people of Judah came to Joshua at Gilgal, and Caleb the son of Jephunneh the Kenizzite said to him, You know what the Lord said to Moses the man of God in Kadesh Barnea concerning you and me. I was 40 years old when Moses the servant of the Lord sent me from Kadesh Barnea to spy out the land, and I brought him word again as it was in my heart. But my brethren who went up with me made the heart of the people melt, yet I wholly followed the Lord my God. And Moses swore on that day, saying, Surely the land on which your foot has trodden shall be an inheritance for you and your children forever, because you have wholly followed the Lord my God. And now, behold, the Lord has kept me alive, as he said, these 45 years since the time that the Lord spoke this word to Moses, while Israel walked in the wilderness, and now, lo, I am this day 85 years old. I am still as strong to this day as I was in the day that Moses sent me, my strength now is as my strength was then, for war, and for going and coming. So now give me this hill country of which the Lord spoke on that day, for you heard on that day how the Anakim were there, with great fortified cities, it may be that the Lord will be with me, and I shall drive them out as the Lord said. Then Joshua blessed him, and he gave Hebron to Caleb the son of Jephunneh for an inheritance. So Hebron became the inheritance of Caleb the son of Jephunneh the Kenizzite to this day, because he wholly followed the Lord, the God of Israel. Now the name of Hebron formerly was Kiriath-arba, this Arba was the greatest man among the Anakim. And the land had rest from war. Joshua 15. The territory of Judah. The lot for the tribe of the people of Judah according to their families reached southward to the boundary of Edom, to the wilderness of Zin at the farthest south. And their south boundary ran from the end of the Salt Sea, from the bay that faces southward, it goes out southward of the ascent of Akrabim, passes along to Zin, and goes up south of Kadesh Barnea, along by Hezron, up to Adar, turns about to Karka, passes along to Azman, goes out by the brook of Egypt, and comes to its end at the sea. This shall be your south boundary. And the east boundary is the Salt Sea, to the mouth of the Jordan. And the boundary on the north side runs from the bay of the sea at the mouth of the Jordan, and the boundary goes up to Beth Hogla, and passes along north of Beth Arba, and the boundary goes up to the stone of Bohan the son of Reuben, and the boundary goes up to Debir from the valley of Acre, and so northward, turning toward Gilgal, which is opposite the ascent of Adumim, which is on the south side of the valley, and the boundary passes along to the waters of En-Shemesh, and ends at En-Rogel. Then the boundary goes up by the valley of the son of Hinnom at the southern shoulder of the Jebusite, that is, Jerusalem, and the boundary goes up to the top of the mountain that lies over against the valley of Hinnom, on the west, at the northern end of the valley of Rephaim. Then the boundary extends from the top of the mountain to the spring of the waters of Nephtoah, and from there to the cities of Mount Ephron. Then the boundary bends round to Baalah, that is, Kiriath-Jearim. And the boundary circles west of Baalah to Mount Seir, passes along to the northern shoulder of Mount Jearim, that is, Ches-Alon, and goes down to Beth Shemesh, and passes along by Timnah. The boundary goes out to the shoulder of the hill north of Ekron. Then the boundary bends round to Shikkaron, and passes along to Mount Baalah, and goes out to Jabneel. Then the boundary comes to an end at the sea. And the west boundary was the great sea with its coastline. This is the boundary round about the people of Judah according to their families. Caleb occupies his portion. According to the commandment of the Lord to Joshua, he gave to Caleb the son of Jephunneh a portion among the people of Judah. Kiriath-Arba, that is, Hebron. Arba was the father of Anak. And Caleb drove out from there the 3 sons of Anak, Sheshai, and Ahiman and Talmah, the descendants of Anak. And he went up from there against the inhabitants of Debir. Now the name of Debir formerly was Kiriath-Sepher. And Caleb said, Whoever smites Kiriath-Sepher, and takes it, to him will I give Achsah my daughter as wife. And Othniel the son of Kenaz, the brother of Caleb, took it, and he gave him Achsah his daughter as wife. When she came to him, she urged him to ask her father for a field, and she alighted from her ass, and Caleb said to her, What do you wish? She said to him, Give me a present, since you have set me in the land of the Negeb, give me also springs of water. And Caleb gave her the upper springs and the lower springs. The towns of Judah. This is the inheritance of the tribe of the people of Judah according to their families. The cities belonging to the tribe of the people of Judah in the extreme south, toward the boundary of Edom, were Kabzeel, Eder, Jagur, Kena, Dimonah, Adadah, Kadesh, Hazor, Ithnan, Ziph, Telem, Bealath, Hazor-Hadadah, Kerioth-Hezron, that is, Hazor, Ammam, Shema, Molada, Hazar-Gada, Heshman, Beth-Pelet, Hazar-Shual, Beersheba, Beziodia, Baalah, Iim, Izem, El-Talad, Chesel, Hormah, Ziklag, Madmenah, Sanzanah, Lebaoth, Shilham, An, and Rimmon, in all, 29 cities. With their villages. And in the lowland, Eshtaol, Zorah, Ashna, Zanoah, En-Ganim, Tappuah, Inam, Jarmuth, Adullam, Sakah, Azekah, Shaaraim, Adadheim, Gadira, Gadirathaim, 14 cities with their villages. Zanan, Hadashah, Migdal-Gad, Dilian, Mizpeh, Joktheel, Lachish, Bozkath, Eglon, Cabin, Lamam, Chitlish, Gidroth, Beth-Dagon, Nema, and Makkedah, 16 cities with their villages. Libnah, Ether, Ashan, Ephta, Ashna, Nezab, Keilah, Achzib, and Mareshah, 9 cities with their villages. Ekron, with its towns and its villages, from Ekron to the sea, all that were by the side of Ashdod, with their villages. Ashdod, its towns and its villages, Gaza, its towns and its villages, to the brook of Egypt, and the great sea with its coastline. And in the hill country, Shamir, Jatir, Sakah, Dana, Kiriath-Sunnah, that is, Debir, Anab, Eshtemoa, Enam, Goshen, Holon, and Gilo, 11 cities with their villages. Arab, Dumah, Eshan, Jenim, Beth-Tappuah, Aphekah, Humta, Kiriath-Arba, that is, Hebron, and Zair, 9 cities with their villages. Mon, Carmel, Ziph, Judah, Jezreel, Jokdam, Zanoah, Cain, Jibah, and Timnah, 10 cities with their villages. Halhol, Beth-Zur, Geder, Ma'arath, Bethanath, and Eltekon, 6 cities with their villages. Kiriath-Baal, that is, Kiriath-Jearim, and Rabbah, 2 cities with their villages. In the wilderness, Beth-Araba, Middan, Sekaka, Nibshan, the city of salt, and Engedi, 6 cities with their villages. But the Jebusites, the inhabitants of Jerusalem, the people of Judah could not drive out, so the Jebusites dwell with the people of Judah at Jerusalem to this day. Joshua 16. The territory of Ephraim. The allotment of the descendants of Joseph went from the Jordan by Jericho, east of the waters of Jericho, into the wilderness, going up from Jericho into the hill country to Bethel, then going from Bethel to Luz, it passes along to Ataroth, the territory of the Archites, then it goes down westward to the territory of the Japhletites, as far as the territory of Lower Beth-Horon, then to Gezer, and it ends at the sea. The people of Joseph, Manasseh, and Ephraim, received their inheritance. The territory of the Ephraimites by their families was as follows: the boundary of their inheritance on the east was Ataroth-Adar as far as Upper Beth-Horon, and the boundary goes thence to the sea. On the north is Michmetheth, then on the east the boundary turns round toward Tanath Shiloh, and passes along beyond it on the east to Janoah, then it goes down from Janoah to Ataroth and to Nara, and touches Jericho, ending at the Jordan. From Tappuah the boundary goes westward to the brook Kana, and ends at the sea. Such is the inheritance of the tribe of the Ephraimites by their families, together with the towns which were set apart for the Ephraimites within the inheritance of the Manassites, all those towns with their villages. However, they did not drive out the Canaanites that dwelt in Gezer, so the Canaanites have dwelt in the midst of Ephraim to this day but have become slaves to do forced labor. Joshua 17. The other half-tribe of Manasseh, west. Then allotment was made to the tribe of Manasseh, for he was the firstborn of Joseph. To Machir the firstborn of Manasseh, the father of Gilead, were allotted Gilead and Bashan, because he was a man of war. And allotments were made to the rest of the tribe of Manasseh, by their families, Abiezer, Helek, Ashriel, Shechem, Heper, and Shemitah. These were the male descendants of Manasseh the son of Joseph, by their families. Now Zelophehad the son of Heper, son of Gilead, son of Machir, son of Manasseh, had no sons, but only daughters, and these are the names of his daughters, Mahlah, Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah. They came before Eleazar the priest and Joshua the son of Nun and the leaders, and said, The Lord commanded Moses to give us an inheritance along with our brethren. So according to the commandment of the Lord he gave them an inheritance among the brethren of their father. Thus there fell to Manasseh 10 portions, besides the land of Gilead and Bashan, which is on the other side of the Jordan, because the daughters of Manasseh received an inheritance along with his sons. The land of Gilead was allotted to the rest of the Manassites. The territory of Manasseh reached from Asher to Michmetheth, which is east of Shechem, then the boundary goes along southward to the inhabitants of En-Tappuah. The land of Tappuah belonged to Manasseh, but the town of Tappuah on the boundary of Manasseh belonged to the sons of Ephraim. Then the boundary went down to the brook Kana. The cities here, to the south of the brook, among the cities of Manasseh, belong to Ephraim. Then the boundary of Manasseh goes on the north side of the brook and ends at the sea, the land to the south being Ephraim's and that to the north being Manasseh's, with the sea forming its boundary. On the north Asher is reached, and on the east Issachar. Also in Issachar and in Asher Manasseh had Beth-Shean and its villages, and Ibleam and its villages, and the inhabitants of Dor and its villages, and the inhabitants of Endor and its villages, and the inhabitants of Tanach and its villages, and the inhabitants of Megiddo and its villages. The third is Naphath. Yet the sons of Manasseh could not take possession of those cities, but the Canaanites persisted in dwelling in that land. But when the people of Israel grew strong, they put the Canaanites to forced labor, and did not utterly drive them out. The tribe of Joseph protests. And the tribe of Joseph spoke to Joshua, saying, Why have you given me but one lot and one portion as an inheritance, although I am a numerous people, since hitherto the Lord has blessed me? And Joshua said to them, If you are a numerous people, go up to the forest, and there clear ground for yourselves in the land of the Perizzites and the Rephaim, since the hill country of Ephraim is too narrow for you. The tribe of Joseph said, The hill country is not enough for us, yet all the Canaanites who dwell in the plain have chariots of iron, both those in Beth-Shean and its villages and those in the valley of Jezreel. Then Joshua said to the house of Joseph, to Ephraim and Manasseh, You are a numerous people, and have great power. You shall not have one lot only, but the hill country shall be yours, for though it is a forest, you shall clear it and possess it to its farthest borders, for you shall drive out the Canaanites, though they have chariots of iron. And though they are strong.